Hello and good morning once again. If you just tuned in, you are watching Good Morning Sri Lanka on MTV Sports, and I am Vasam Ismail. And as I told you just before the break, it is Social Media Week from the 18th to 22nd. And as I said, we've got a very interesting guest in the studio today who is actually considered an expert in the local context of social media. And of course, a lot of people who are in the whole scene of Twitter and everything would know who she is. So before much further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Indulekha Nanakar. Good morning, Indulekha.
Good morning, Asam.
How are you feeling today?
Good, chirpy like a bird.
Now, before I say anything, I mean, Indulekha is a beautiful name, right?
Thank you.
And I'm sure that your friends call you with some sort of nickname. Is it Lekha
No,
or is it
it's
Indu? It's Indu. So I'm going to be calling you Indu this morning.
Yes,
all right, excellent. Okay, so just tell me a little bit about yourself, Indu. How you got into social media and just a little about yourself.
Okay, actually I got into social media while I was in media, as in like radio. While I was in one radio station, the CEO actually wanted me to check around to see if this thing called Facebook can actually help business, you know, because it was a brand new radio station, and so he wanted me to check it out. And so I started, actually I was on Facebook by then, so I just saw this pages thing and groups thing going on at that time.
Okay,
so
I'm going to stop you there for a If you don't mind me asking, how long ago was this?
Okay, this was
because you did mention saying, you know, I was on Facebook back then. So which means
yeah.
it could be at a time where not many users in Sri Lanka were on Facebook.
There were actually quite a number of users, I guess, but it was, I think, 2009.
2009? Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, or it could be earlier, maybe 2007 or 2009. I really can't remember. But when this happened, when my former CEO asked me to see if Facebook can actually drive business to the radio station, it was just when the pages or groups launched, and businesses were just, you know, using it to drive their, you know, get into customers. So then I went on to searching about Twitter and YouTube and so on.
And ultimately you explored throughout all the other channels.
Yeah. Oh, and at that time I was actually blogging. I was actively blogging, but under another name.
Okay.
So then at that time I thought, okay, maybe it's time that I actually start blogging on my own name. And that was how I kind of started the whole social media thing.
I see. Also, like I mentioned, the whole reason we thought of getting you onto the studio this morning is because it is Social Media Week, and we do want to talk about the topic. What really is Social Media Week?
Well, there are a lot of days connected to social media, but this week, as in 18th to 22nd in February this year, and again in September, can't really remember the exact days, but 2 weeks in two far apart months in a year, there's a website called socialmediaweek.org or .com. Okay, so this website actually consisting of about 6 people. They have been doing this social media week thing for the past 5 years.
Okay.
So what they do is actually they host, they announce, this is social media week, and they sort of invite different cities to join hands with them and kind of create a hype about the entire social media idea, and then let people learn how to connect and use social media for, small businesses or for personal use, or, just create engagement regarding social media, as well as how to connect, how to, more about connectivity and transparency. So this is done every year for, 2 different months.
2 different months, excellent. Also, Indu, if you tell me now, in the local context, right, the moment you say social media, the first thing that comes to your mind is Facebook, right? And of course, there are a lot of Facebook users out there. If you care to share the stats, how many Facebook users in the country?
Last time I checked, it was 1.5 million.
1.5 million local subscribers on Facebook in Sri Lanka, right? And of course, when it comes to social media, there are a lot of other channels. What really is out there which Sri Lankans haven't really explored yet?
Facebook, yes, because that's the biggest social network in the world as well as in Sri Lanka. I think the second biggest social network for Sri Lankans would be Twitter, and then from there it can go into maybe Google Plus. Although globally statistics recently showed that Google Plus is in like number 2 place, but I don't know how it is with Sri Lankans. I'm assuming it is
but
much
then again,
less.
when you do actually go onto the internet and you search about different social medias and stuff, very hardly do you come across people who are talking about Google Plus, and of course Google being like the number 1 giant in the internet. Do you think the figures could be manipulated?
I don't think so, because I mean, if you are talking about fake profiles, then there are plenty of fake profiles on Facebook, on Twitter, on any of those social channels. So if anyone points fingers at Google Plus for having fake profiles, then they should, I mean, point the finger at all the other networks as well. So I think the global statistics must be correct, but what I'm saying is, in the local context, the Sri Lankans may not have explored. I mean, when Google Plus first launched, we were like number 3 country. Believe it or not, we were like the third highest, like people-wise, the number of people-wise on Google Plus. Yeah, and then it came down as Google Plus became more aware. I think maybe it's because it was invites only, and ours is a very close-knit community. So maybe they was sharing invitations back and forth a lot. But later on, the numbers went drastically down, and the other countries.
And of course, I'm sure there are like several profiles out there that are non-active, which is just created. Of course, we've come across a lot of them rather on Twitter, where you see multiple accounts, but not many people tweeting. Now, just to mention, Indulekha is also on Twitter, and if you want to follow her, I'm a follower of her myself. I've been following her for some time now, because I do consider her an icon in the whole local social media industry. And if you do want to follow her, you can just search at Indunan. Correct?
Indunan, yeah, whatever.
Indunan, or is it Indunan? How do you pronounce that?
Okay, I originally wanted it to be, I mean, I was thinking in my head Indunan, because my surname is Nanakara, so it's N-A-N, it's Nan. So then a lot
Just
of people...
for somebody who wouldn't know, would actually confuse it to an Indian dish.
Yeah, they used to bug me, Indunan, na.
Excellent, excellent. Also, how many Twitter users do you think are there in Sri Lanka?
Again, the Twitter numbers are not very clear, because we don't really have statistics, but we assume from what we could guesstimate, it's about like 1:20 between the from the Facebook user to Twitter user count. So if there are 20 Facebook users in Sri Lanka, there must be 1 Twitter user. Okay. So that's probably the guess we can have. So I may be wrong, but since there aren't very defined statistics, I can.
Okay, so coming back to yourself, Indu, you as a career, as a profession, you are in social media. Can you just elaborate a little bit about that and what it is that you actually do as a social media professional, if I'm to call you?
I professionally, I work as head of social media for Loop Solutions Private Limited. So there, what we do is we handle accounts, like social networking accounts for various companies. So that's, I mean, what you can call it a digital agency or something like that. So there are several agencies in the country that handle social media accounts for other companies.
Actually, coming back to that, I mean, 2-3 years ago, you'd always hear about, the traditional advertising agencies who handle, the traditional mediums like TV, radio, press. But nobody really thought that, down the years later, you get agencies specializing on social media. Now, how is that in Sri Lanka? Is it a growing trend, or how is it really?
Definitely a growing trend, because I mean, I think we saw this trend starting from 2011, when a couple of significant companies came on Facebook and Twitter, and they became very active, and then I mean, from then the trend started, and everyone was like curious. Okay, why are these guys on Facebook and on Twitter? How is it helping them? And a couple of small businesses were also like coffee houses, restaurants. They were also on Facebook and Twitter mainly. And I think throughout 2012 we started seeing a lot of companies getting on board, more like forward companies who are like more into thinking beyond the usual. And then I think this year we see a huge trend moving towards getting on social media. Like, I mean, I think last week I conducted a conference with some people, and there were over 100 people who attended the conference, and these were companies, big and small. They were really interested, keen on learning about social media, how to use social media to gain more awareness. Actually, the number one thing I would see, the use I would see for social media would be awareness. So this message can, I mean, it's a message that can go global, right? I mean, if you talk about television or radio, it's confined to a country or a region. But with social media, you can actually go global. You can reach out to anyone and everyone. I mean, you can see it from like some of the very famous viral YouTube videos, like Gangnam Style. Nobody ever knew this Korean guy who's like, and he went all the way to like TV shows, and he became so popular. And the recent one,
Harlem Shake.
Yeah, Harlem Shake. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't seen it already, you should just go on to YouTube and just search for Harlem Shake. You might just find something interesting there. Right?
Yes, totally.
Yes, also to stop you there a little bit now, of course, earlier when social media did come about, it was all about just people interacting with each other, and in the initial stages I don't think companies really did get involved, but of course then companies did see a motive to get into social media to help their businesses. And globally, if you take it, I mean, here in Sri Lanka I think it's still an emerging theme, but globally they've gone places with social media. Any case studies globally that you could share, which you know
actually,
about?
There are a lot of companies that have gone, I mean, huge with social media. Notably, Starbucks is very popular. They do all sorts of crazy things using. Actually, it's not just social media. It's not just online. What we have noticed as more successful is combining social media and offline. Driving people to, let's say, okay, let's go for a tweet up and come and gather here and do something. That's the kind of thing that really gets people going. Very recently I saw this video. I think it's a Belgian TV network. But did you see that push to add drama button? Okay,
no.
there's this video, right?
Wait, I think I may have come across something like this. So anyway, continue.
Yeah, so these guys, I mean, they launched this new TV channel, I think, and there was this button in the middle of a city. It said push to add drama. So people like passing by.
Oh yes,
one
I've
guy
definitely
pushed
seen this
it.
one.
Oh my God, complete mayhem. So this video had gone completely viral on YouTube, right? So people who didn't even know about, so this started offline. They started in a real life situation, and then they recorded it, and then they got in on YouTube, and then on YouTube this video was viewed so much that this company would have got plenty of visibility.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there on the same topic of virality, right? Of course, I've personally noticed that there were several companies, even locally and in the international context, where they've tried to create viral material and they've tried to push it out there, but in most cases it has failed. In certain cases, I think some things have successfully managed to go viral. Now, how do you really determine when you are planning for a brand? How do you really determine what could go viral and what may not go viral?